Thank you very much for the kind opportunity here to speak at the summit. It's always difficult being the last speaker because so much has been said already, and it's particularly difficult for an Irish person considering being inside, considering that there's such glorious sunshine outside. We see so little of it. So I have every reason to be brief. The European Union Affairs Committee, of which I chair, and the Irish Government have been and continue to be very supportive of the further enlargement of the European Union, and that of course includes Croatia and the other aspirant countries of the Western Balkans. Ireland considers enlargement of the southeastern region of Europe to be an integral part of the natural organic growth of the European Union. So for us, your theme today in this particular summit is most appropriate, namely finalising the transition. Ireland, coming from the most westerly part of the European Union, as you well know, we have benefited greatly from the membership of the EU and continue to benefit from the assistance given to us by our EU partners in order to support us in working our way out of our current difficult situation. But aside from Ireland's own positive experience of enlargement, I have seen how the enlargement of recent years have helped in securing democracy and stability in Europe while bolstering trade and promoting prosperity, which is of course in the interests of all the European citizens. Also, I would like to say on the theme of openness that Ireland in its own history has reason to vouch for the importance of such openness and of maintaining dialogue with her neighbours and the positive effect this close cooperation within the European Union has had on achieving peace and stability in our own relations with our neighbouring island after centuries, literally centuries, of warfare, suspicion and hostility. In November last year, Croatia and Slovenia were able to make progress on their long-standing maritime and border dispute by signing an arbitration agreement which was filed by both parties at the United Nations Treaties Office in May of this year. And I believe that this is an excellent example of how the prospect of accession to the European Union promotes efforts to achieve solutions to potentially contentious issues. So with this obstacle removed, I was greatly pleased to note the rapid and successful conclusion of Croatia's enlargement negotiations with the closing of the final 4 chapters at the accession conference on the 30th of June, following more than 5 years of intensive work. I take this opportunity to congratulate Croatia, the Presidency and the Commission on the considerable work that has gone into the accession negotiations. There is indeed another aspect to Croatia's accession that is of particular significance to Ireland. Following Ireland's no vote on the Lisbon Treaty in 2008, the European Council agreed that Ireland would be given legal guarantees clarifying aspects of the treaty. The guarantees consist of legally binding arrangements and political commitments, and the binding agreements concern constitutional matters, security and defence matters, workers' rights, social policy, and above all at the present time, taxation sovereignty, which is an extremely contentious issue for us at the moment. All 27 members of the European Union undertook to include the provisions of the European Council's decision in 2009, those guarantees, as a protocol to be attached to the 2 founding treaties of the European Union at the time of the conclusion of the next accession treaty. It now looks almost certain that the next accession treaty will be Croatia's. So I'm confident that Croatian accession in July 2013 will serve as an example and an impetus to the other countries of the Western Balkans to step up their reforms in order that we can truly realise our common goal of peace and prosperity in the region. If indeed the Croatian accession moves more quickly than contemplated, Croatia could become a full member of the European Union during the Irish presidency, which takes place in the first half of 2013. And indeed that would be particularly appropriate in the overall circumstances, and of course they would be very welcome indeed in Dublin. So finally, Mr. Chairman, the European Union Affairs Committee of the Irish Parliament will continue to play an active role in the discussions on enlargement, both with our government and in bilateral discussions with existing and aspirant member state parliaments. In this regard, I am looking forward to meeting with a delegation of the Croatian European Integration Committee in Dublin later this year. I hope that their visit to Dublin will be as enjoyable as our visit to this beautiful city of Dubrovnik. Thank you very much.